Welcome to the opening ceremony of TECH4EVA. We're really excited to have so many of you with us today in this major moment where we're going to launch the first Swiss Femtech Accelerator. It's a joint initiative between the EPFL Innovation Park and the health insurer Groupe Mutuel. And we're proud to be joined by Ferring Pharmaceuticals as a corporate partner to support the initiative. I'm Anna, and together with Cynthia and Johannes, we're going to be the hosts for today.
Today we convene experts, innovators, and industry sectors all across the world, across different industry sectors in Femtech. We're rallying here together to celebrate and support a really important segment in our communities, women. For those of you who are new to the term Femtech, what is Femtech that we're celebrating here today? Femtech is a technological solutions around women's health and wellness to help them grow and thrive. We have a great program for you today with great speakers as well as interesting conversations. And of course, you get to meet the 30 selected innovative solutions, and you'll hear directly from the 15 selected growth startups about the technological solutions they will be developing during the program.
All right, so thank you everyone for joining this online event. We want to be as interactive as possible again. So please, if you can turn on your camera, that's great for us. We can see you. Don't hesitate to do so. Otherwise, you can also ask questions to the panelists and to the speakers today. So for that, I invite you to go to the Slido link that you probably see somewhere on the platform or on the screens as well. Yeah, should be. And then we will also introduce you our partners, because they are the ones, yeah, that's the Slido, sorry. So don't hesitate to take the QR code or go to this bit.ly link to ask your questions to the panelists. I will let you 2 seconds to do that, and then I will present the partners for this event. All right, I guess now it's done. All right, so the partners, they are the Swiss Embassy in London, Joyan's Partners, Swiss Next Boston, and Women in Wearables. And don't worry, we will present them later during this program today.
So we're here today to bring awareness in how to prevent, how to treat, and how to care for women-specific health issues. A problem today is that a lot of healthcare research and medical trials are based on male profiles. And only roughly 4% of healthcare research is targeted at women's health. Depending on which study you read, the femtech market will be worth somewhere between 50 and 60 billion US dollars in less than 10 years. So these figures really shows that femtech is not only a huge market opportunity, but it also can have a really great impact into the future of science. So in our first panel, the femtech landscape, we're going to be discussing the importance of women's health, but also its impact on professional life and on the economy. So I would like to welcome up on the stage Haider Alleg, Global Head of Digital at Ferring Pharmaceuticals, that will be introducing the speakers and tell us more about the topic. So Haider, I'm very proud to have you here. The floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you for the warm intro. And you don't know how psyched I am to see that topic up high when it comes to women. And as you introduced me kindly, I've been working in that therapeutic area for the last 12 years. And at Ferring, we are obviously very close to that topic as a reproductive medicine maternal health leader in the space. To join me on that stage, I'm honored to moderate a lineup of fantastic panelists. So I'd like to be joined right now by Alois Zwinggi, by Ursula, Oesterle, and Sophie Revaz from Groupe Mutuel to hopefully give you some more insights on the why and the landscape and the mission in front of us that we can tackle all together in that community. Thank you. So starting with you, Alois, from a World Economic Forum point of view and your expertise and potentially your personal view, what can you tell us about femtech and why this is important today? Can you shed some light on this?
Thank you, Haider, and thanks a lot for the opportunity to be here. And I actually also want to congratulate you for this initiative. I think it's really important. And, let me maybe start with a few thoughts sort of from a more global point of view about the role of women in healthcare in general, but also sort of maybe the situation of women in general globally in healthcare. Because as you know, the World Economic Forum has a couple of flagship reports that we publish, from the Gender Gap Report or also the Global Competitiveness Report. And our research sort of over the last 12 months has really shown some interesting highlights. I mean, clearly women have been over proportionately affected by the COVID crisis. And, in some countries, their access to health has become limited. And they have been maybe among the first to suffer from workplace reductions. Also, domestic violence has been very much prominent in the last year. We've also seen that here in Switzerland. And maybe last but not least, they have played a very important role as caregivers, in their homes. And if you look at at the professional side, 70% of all workers in the healthcare industry globally are women. But we still see, obviously, a big challenge with regards to the pay gap of women in that industry. But we also see a leadership gap. Means that, there's much less women at the top, even in the healthcare industry. And so that's, in that sense, also an area why I think this is an important topic. Femtech is an important topic for us. If you think about the economic value of the role of women in the healthcare industry, it's $3 trillion on an annual basis. And this is the equivalent of the GDP of a country, of a market like the United Kingdom. I mean, it's a huge and massive impact. And we have also been looking at the unpaid work that women do in the health sector, and we estimate this to be about 2% of the global GDP. If you think about 2%, whenever something happens that's affecting 2% of GDP, the World Bank gets in action and says something about this. So it's really an important element. So I think, Haider, these would be sort of a few reasons why we at the World Economic Forum are also passionate about this.
I think that there are great opening points, and for the community out there, great openers on the challenges ahead. I'd like to introduce you, Sophie. So you are the CEO of Groupe Mutuel. What can you tell us about that area? And kudos, by the way, on this joint venture, but what will be some intro words for the community out there?
So first, I'm very happy to be here to launch this project, TECH4EVA. I would like to explain the reason why Groupe Mutuel is supporting this project. And I think there are three main reasons. First, we all know that there are more than 50% of women in the population. But what is perhaps less known is that only 4% of the health investment are specifically dedicated to them. And I think this is not fair. We are not doing enough for women's health. And at Groupe Mutuel, we want to change this. We want to help Femtech Solutions change this with us. Second, we insure people. This implies a great responsibility. We are the only Swiss insurer with focus on health and life needs, both for individuals and for corporate clients. And we are number 3 in health insurance in Switzerland. This is a market in which health expenses reach 80 billion per year, 80 billion. We have 50% of our customers that are women, and we have even more than 65% of our employees that are women. And we think that innovation and new technologies should also be at the service from these women. They should be at the service from all women in Switzerland and in the world. And third and last, our role at Groupe Mutuel is not only to pay bills. We do pay bills, but our role goes far beyond. Our role is to support people. It is to offer innovative solutions for better prevention, for better treatment, for better services. And we really want to support innovative solutions in areas such as fertility, pregnancy, menopause, mental health. TECH4EVA perfectly meets these needs, and we are very proud to support this project, which is unique in Switzerland, and we are really proud to do it with such a prestigious partner as the EPFL Innovation Park. These are the reasons why we are supporting this.
No, it makes sense, and I think it's a great opportunity for the ecosystem to benefit from that platform. Ursula, as the VP Innovation, I think you prepared some slides. As the VP Innovation of EPFL, can you share some views of your own on that topic, which I'm sure it's very close to your heart as well?
Yes. So first of all, welcome everyone. We are on the campus of EPFL, the Polytechnic of Switzerland. There are about 16,000 students and collaborators in this area. We are very interested in innovation, a key driver, as we have the Innovation Park, which is the sponsor of this event. There are around 2,500 people in here and lots of startups, over 150, and we're constantly driving this, so we're very happy to kind of host this. We have different topics ranging from IT, but also health, nutrition is a key element. Sports is also, especially athlete competitive sports, given the Olympic Committee around the corner. Now, as a woman, let's have a look at what the life of a woman looks like, okay? It's a roller coaster. This is a profile of the ovarian hormones of a female, estrogen and progesterone, through the life cycle of a woman. There are no 2 days that are the same, okay? So when we talk about healthcare, yes, there is a case when we actually have a real issue, but this fluctuation influences everything we do, okay? These hormones, estrogen, influences histamine, which influences sensitivity to allergies. These hormones influence our insulin sensitivity, everything. So sleep, we can get headaches, and as we go through life, they're constantly changing. And there's a rough time in the teen age, and then there's a rough time in the menopause, perimenopause, and menopause when the body is resetting. So this is for me the real opportunity. I mean, there's one part which, as I call, is sick care, but the other part is actually the well care. How do we get through every day when one day you have a headache, the next day you didn't sleep well, the next day your digestion is not working that well? That's the life we have to go through, and yet we're expected to perform like any man. So I am really happy that finally, as you said, we're starting to look at women differently. And in the biohacking community, there's a dedicated community of biohacking to women, where we're using technology to look at biometric feedback loops to kind of help you get through the day so that you can optimize a bit your sleep, your nutrition, the mood. Mood is a very big issue, the hormonal balances, when to do exercise. I mean, that fluctuates also during the monthly cycle. You're not same competitive during the month, how much recovery you need, and even how you feel. So I think there's a great opportunity in what I call well care beyond the sick care. Thank you.
Thank you, Ursula. I think there are great points there where that biohacking topic, it's very exciting. It's an exciting field.
Yes.
I guess there are many things to look at. Personalization medicine starts as
Yes.
well with differentiating men and women in those therapeutic areas, and it's not that hard, but it's just a bit of a discipline. And I think you mentioned something important is healthcare is not necessarily just the spectrum of the sick part of healthcare. There are all the prevention you mentioned and the work that can be done beforehand.
I think we can even go beyond prevention. It's just how to get through the day in a better way. How do we balance this constant fluctuation where women are just much more prone to it? I mean, the men are lucky. You're just...
So I'd like to take us back on what started that panel, and I think it was mentioned in the entry where we talked about awareness, and I think that topic lacked for many years awareness. So I'm going to approach you, Alois, on what can we do as a community to promote and to create those platforms? And I'm sure you, as WEF, you have definitely thought about this. What can you tell us about that need for promotion and awareness on this topic?
Yeah, I'm actually, by the way, I really liked sort of your analogy of our lives being boring, and was sort of my learning moment before. Thank you for that. Now, clearly, I think one of the areas where we see this whole femtech opportunity also playing out is actually in the area of bringing more women into professions that are actually future-proof. That is another area where we are passionate about. At the World Economic Forum. And if you think about that, if you look today at the representation of women in cloud computing and engineering, we're looking at numbers of 15 to 20%. So I'm actually not looking here at the benefits of the femtech industry, but more at the opportunities that this industry also provides women to be much more present in professions of the future. And as you mentioned, the World Economic Forum was actually founded on the idea of platforms, of bringing stakeholders together from different from different areas. And actually, we have launched just now a platform to allow leaders from the health industry, but also from the government side, to share their experience about leadership, how to actually exercise leadership in a world that is still very much male-dominated. We will produce like 2 different products. One is obviously insight, which means research and reports, but it's also a community where people can exchange views and learn from each other. So this would be maybe an example of how we create platforms to foster such.
And it's a global one. It's not.
It's a global one. Whatever we do, it's always global, because obviously the learnings that happen in another part of the world, experience from Latin America and Africa, can be very useful for us as well, and the other way around. We really believe in sort of global fertilization of ideas.
Yeah. No, great point.
And I think we have to really, when you design this platform, get female input to do it, because when we talk about leaderships of women in leaderships or taking on certain roles, I mean, given the fluctuation we have, there are days where, for example, you're much more sensitive emotionally, and then having to go into hard meetings is emotionally a challenge. While men are much more zen, and so they can go into meetings. So I think it's these kind of soft things that are really key that need to come out to get through life on a daily basis to get better performance and stability and interaction between women and men.
That's a very good point, and sorry, Haider, to sort of upset your moderation.
Yes. We agreed.
To be like this.
But I think we've also seen in the last 12 months that the leadership style of women has actually been much more productive in this sort of roller coaster of life of the last 12 months. And the platform that we are launching actually is to some degree also wants to build on the experience of female leadership during times of crisis.
Yeah, we are learned much more to go through unknown and go day by day or hour by hour.
No, I think you're right to close the loop on that. Having, as I said, worked in women's health for the last 12 years, working on some therapeutic area that where where symptoms were heavy bleeding as a male. Heavy bleeding is very complicated to feel, to understand what heavy bleeding is. Even if you look at the data, the insights, the interviews of patients, if you're not a woman, it's very hard to understand what is it to go through, anemia and fatigue and so on. So I think this balanced view on this topic is important.
And sorry.
No, go ahead.
Here's where the biohacking and all the tech comes in very, very well handy, okay? Because as you said, heavy bleeding is one thing, but when do you know you become anemic? When do you know your fatigue is actually due to lack of iron rather than just a hormonal fluctuation?
Exactly.
And this is where this tech can actually be an enabler to kind of give a biometric feedback loop to help a little bit more proactive preventively, and that's where I see the huge potential. It's really the everyday, managing everyday changes.
Yeah, you don't know what you don't know, and if you have that data and you know and you start to be aware, I think that's where the change starts. I wanted to come back to you, Sophie. You talked about this partnership in this joint venture. What concretely Groupe Mutuel will do in TECH4EVA? Can you shed some light on that as well?
First of all, I would like to mention why we are doing this association and why the EPFL Innovation Park. I think we are talking about improving women's health in Switzerland and in the world. No one can do this alone. And I really like this African proverb that said, if you go alone, you go faster, but if you go together, you go really further. And I think we really need that we work all together if we want innovative solution to emerge. We need to have all the players around the same table if we want the investments in women's health to increase. And we really need to bring the best innovators from the femtech domain to this cause. And the EPFL Innovation Park has a great experience in supporting startups, and it is the best innovation park in Switzerland. So that's why for us it's really the natural partner for us for such a project, and why we are really happy to launch it with the EPFL Innovation Park. And we really want to provide this platform to provide the access to the Swiss health market, but we won't solve the problem alone. As I said, we really need everyone to solve the problem.
And from my point of view, even from a Ferring perspective, we know that we need to have an ecosystem of innovators around us. It's not from an industry perspective that we will become a tech partner for our clinical practice partner or fertility clinics. We need that ecosystem which comes from academic, from payers, from everyone, to have this common view. And I think your point, Alois, is having a common definition of what good looks like. That's also important. That will be different from countries to countries, and also from ages to ages. The segmentation for a teenager, good looks differently than for premenopausal women. I think that is where those community and those exchanges will shed some light to potential innovators out there that are just waiting to tackle those areas. So I'd like to come back on your point, Ursula, on biohacking and what can we do. I think it's a fantastic topic, but what do you see from your point of view on the first thing to tackle? I mean, behind biohacking, it seems to me that we are looking at connected object, data loops, having a little bit more of also not necessarily tech, but having also better services, better information, creating. Can you help us decipher a bit that area? Because I'm not sure everyone is that aware.
One of the hardest things is that every person is different. We talk about personalized medicine, but on personalized nutrition, personalized lifestyle, all the different factors. And then on top of that, as we start to personalize and all the AI tools around personalization, they are done on pools of people. I mean, they're overly white male, okay, statistically, not even white female. And then the other races is already another issue. And I think this is where we need to kind of also collect a bit of data to be able to get valuable insights. But then each person has different issues that are the most critical. For some, it's sleep, okay? For some, it's weight management. For some, it's mood. And I think we cannot underestimate, for women in the cycles, the impact on mood, humor, and energy. Yeah? When we talk about health, we often talk about physical health, the bleeding. But actually, it's the mindset, the foggy brain, of being able to concentrate, being tired, those things are much harder to get through life. And here, there's a lot of startups. It's actually mostly startups that collect these data. Now the problem is right now they're silo. So you have to find the ones that work for you, that you can do, and then it's about learning, okay? You can learn about your sleep pattern. You can see, for example, if I drink alcohol, for one person, it kills the sleep. For another person, it has no impact. Actually, much more interesting, depending on where you're in your cycle, it does have impact or it does not have impact. So these are the kind of learnings that you have to learn. Same thing as when we talk about food or nutrition. I mean, ketonic diet is the thing. Now, as a woman, we shouldn't do it because there are moments where you need carbs, okay? So when do you know you need carbs or not? So again, these tools will kind of help you along the way. So it's about learning proactively, but not too far, almost real time. So you can do almost real time, small interventions to kind of get you through life a little bit better and not have less of an up and down.
It's almost like you're saying those therapeutic areas, those healthcare challenges are beyond just the tech itself. It's about understanding who you have in front of you and adapting exactly the right service or info or treatment if needed, but having that feedback loop that is hyper-personalized.
And in biohacking, it's really the consumer. You are on your own, actually, okay? Because the recommendations and the data is not there yet. So you're contributing to the knowledge base. That's why I call it the well care and not sick care. In the sick care, we have data. We know when you have bleeding, you do a blood test, you see you're anemic, boom, you get the iron, okay? Or you get vitamin B12 or whatever you need. But when you go in biohacking on the daily basis, it is so personalized, we don't have that knowledge yet. So a lot of the startups are actually working on that. What kind of AI algorithms do I need? What kind of data? And then interconnectivity. We cannot, about a third is your genetics, about a third is your lifestyle, and about a third is your environment, okay? So we have pollen season. It throws off your histamine level, which again fix your hormones, and you have other symptoms, okay? There's the winds, the bees, it fix you again. So you need to integrate all of this, and that is experiential learning right now, where the consumers, it's a consumer science, citizen science, where we actually put in data into databases, which hopefully later we can find some more patterns.
Yeah, no, it's interesting.
That's the opportunity.
Yeah, I know. So for me, it's beyond just physiological data that you capture. It's way beyond. Yeah. Now, I'd like to come back to another angle. We started to approach it, and maybe it's for you, Sophie. We see that from a woman perspective, obviously, the last 50, 60 years have changed the way a woman approaches certain part of her life. Like I'm looking at it from a reproductive medicine perspective because of the work we do at Ferring. For example, planning a family has considerably changed because of the length of the studies and the pressure you have at work. What can you tell us on the relationship between what we will be doing with TECH4EVA here and potentially the careers of women, that are evolving also with those potential challenges?
This is a very interesting question, I think, and we see that when we talk about women's health, we very soon talk about questions around women's career. Better health help to have a better personal development. It helps to have a better personal growth, to have a better work-life balance. It is really a better foundation for a successful career. And I think if we improve women's health, not only women will benefit from this, they will have better chances to have successful career, but really it will be to the benefit from the whole society and the whole economy, because these women, these successful women, they will bring this great added value to the whole society, to the whole economy. And I think our role as responsible company is to put all conditions in place so that we see more and more successful women, and so that these successful women can really bring this added value to the whole society and economy. And health is one of these conditions, actually.
No, of course. I'd like to piggyback on what you just said to maybe Alois, because we hear about the career and the impact, and we immediately think, about those examples, the big tech companies started, to sponsor women in their career with social freezing and all. But we tend to forget that the same pillar in the family, whatever you are in a growing country in Africa or other part of the world, those women are a pillar of their society. So it's as much important everywhere in the world. Do you agree on that?
No, definitely. I mean, our global gender gap report looks at probably 120 countries, and we see still globally an enormous need to enable women to have the same opportunity as we men have. I mean, we have this somewhat controversial approach of calculating how many years does it still take for women to catch up, to have the same standing or the same opportunity as men. And I can say in most of the categories we're looking at, we're talking of 50, 60 to more than 100 years if the evolution goes as fast as in the past. Meaning we still have a lot to do on the societal level, on the educational level, but also in businesses, even policies from governmental point of view, to enable women to have actually the same opportunities as we guys have.
And access is one of the key topic, yeah. It seems to me, and Ursula, I'm looking at you for that question. It seems to me that one of the key answers here is collaboration. It's obviously a complicated topic. We have the medical practice, we have a consumer angle, we have great minds working in labs, and it feels that we have not just spoke the same language and have the sense of priority. So what will you recommend from your eyes on that collaboration aspect? What should we do as a community to better collaborate and innovate all together?
For me, when we look at innovation, one of the first things is always framing the problem from the user's need, okay? And I think this is where we really have to be careful, because a lot of incubators and startups will come with a tech push. Yeah. Nobody cares about data, okay, unless it has a meaning for you. And the meaning actually means an actionable action, because collecting data is nice. I mean, you see all these sleep apps and things, you do it a week, two, and then who cares? Diet apps a week. So you need something that's an actionable item. And so we have to really come from the problem space, okay? And then we work together to solve the problem. And the moment we come from a problem, we need everything from design, from usability, from accessibility, from privacy of data, to actually creating value. And this is where we need everybody to get around. And then actually we will also have ethical issues. What do we do with the data? Where is the limit? How open do we share the data? So it's all about open innovation, collaboration, but focused on, designed around the problem.
No, that makes sense. I'm just looking at the time. I think, do we have questions from the audience? We still have a minute. Other than this, if we might actually conclude on that panel, I think if I look at all the discussion we have, we circulated quite a lot of topics in 20-25 minutes. So it has been quite a challenge to answer that why. But I think we get a better sense and a better landscape of why that topic has been not forgotten, but not prioritized for so long, and why that opportunity now maybe makes you, when you are listening to that replay or when you're watching it right now, makes it something potentially exciting for you to help us come and tackle and maybe give you inspiration to start focusing on those challenges, and that are beyond just physiological. When we hear women health, we tend to see the health, and I think you demonstrated, all of you, that the outcome and the impact are beyond just healthcare and the clinical aspect of the world. So I'd like to thank the panelists we have today with us. And without further ado, I think it's time for you to prepare for the next session. Thank you again. Great.